Hello, this is Christina Wallace with my weekly flower tutorial, and today I'm going to be talking about polymer clay. Now, polymer clay is an interesting thing. It's very hard, I found, to determine what it actually is, and it seems to me that polymer clay is kind of an umbrella term for different clays that are out there. So these clays here are just some of the examples of endless makes that are out there, and Modena on the right is the one that you would use most definitely if you live in the UK, as it's quite available, or at least no other clay is readily available in UK. And it's not a bad clay. Unfortunately, I don't have it to demo in any detail handy in this video, but I'm going to do a separate video on it, as I actually quite like it. The pink one at the bottom on the right is a funny clay. It actually dries completely translucent, brilliant for making insects kind of wings and things like that, off topic, but also some parts of flower and foliage, and obviously you can color it as well. Anyway, so that's just a point of interest, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce the two main varieties of polymer clay, and yeah, we'll take it from there. Okay, so I'm going to start with the less familiar on my channel, two main types of polymer clay, and of course it's Claycraft by Deco. Deco is amazing. They have a Claycraft Academy in Japan where it originated, and the whole flower art started by Kazuka Muai. Do look her up, amazing woman and amazing academy. It has to be said though that Deco is not very easy to find in the UK. Possible, but not very easy, which brings me to this. It's Bright and Light Clay by FMM, and it's a freebie. They sent it to me, so thank you very much. And I was trying it and I wasn't sure what to expect really, but actually it's very similar to Deco. Very similar, very adequate clay, and obviously you can get it in UK. You just pop in on their website, and I think it's available there now. And yeah, I think it's a little bit cheaper than Deco as well, and it's yeah, very good clay, and I'm going to show you some flowers I made with it. So the next main type of polymer clay seems to be called porcelain, and as I said, Modena is the one that you would find in the UK, the only one I think, and the one on the right is the one that you use, is the one that's called porcelain. The one on the left, the soft one, it's actually just a variety of Deco clay. It's similar, it's cellulose based clay, so these two are completely different, not to be confused, but they can be mixed. I'm going to mention it later, but don't confuse the two. Please don't confuse them if you prefer one or the other. And here you have modern clay. It's clay from Thailand. I ordered it from Etsy, and many people asked me to try it out, so this is what I'm doing. And here I have self-made clay that actually jumped a surprise on me. And these are the flowers. Now, the one I'm holding in my hand now, it's a peony made with cold porcelain. Look how amazing it is. And so that's the branded cold porcelain. It's a Thai clay, and the one and actually all the foliage for it, if you could see it peeking through, it's very clumsy foliage, and it's made with self-made clay. So yeah, it does the job, just not as well. And this here is a chrysanthemum made out of Deco clay, or perhaps it was FMM's clay. I think I've used FMM's Bright and Light for most of that bunch of flowers, and I've added a bit of Deco at the end because I was running out of FMM's or something. But anyway, look, this is definitely Bright and Light, and I haven't actually dried it properly before putting it in an arrangement, so it's a bit wonky, so watch out for that if you use it. But it's amazingly light, and it's foamy, and as you could see, you could kind of drop it, throw it at people, whatever, and it's just nothing's gonna happen to it, and it's extremely light. As I said, I'm going to weigh it, and you would be able to see a bit of a difference in weight. So this is self-made rose on the right, and the one on the left is branded cold porcelain. Now, self-made is a bit stiff anyway, but I also found that adding paint, even a small amount of paint, to your flower makes the paste a little bit more stiff. I mean, self-made paste is stiff anyway. You'll see what I mean at the end. I'm going to show you. what I mean by that in a bit more of a detail. But yeah, but self-made does do the job. It's not that bad, considering how little do you pay for it. Now this flower, next flower, there's two in fact, are made out of incredibly surprisingly cold paste, potato paste. And it's sent to me by someone from Australia, by one of my viewers. So thank you very, very much. And it's a lovely paste, but unfortunately it's not actually edible, which is a little bit odd. And it has, it's not as flexible either, but it has an interesting way about it. You can kind of bend it a little bit when it's fully dry, so it could, but I don't like this little fray edges at the same time. But look at the bendiness of it when it's fully dry. You could make some interesting effects with it. So yeah, potato paste. It's by its quality, it's very similar to cold porcelain, but sadly, it's not as good. And actually, it seemed to be very expensive as well. I looked it up, but yeah, I just threw it in for a little bit of interest. So back to our new friend, the cellulose-based clay. See, the veins are just amazing. It's probably the best clay for veins, in all fairness. Now this is branded COLD PORCELAIN, and the veins, my camera is actually not one of the best ones, and it doesn't pick up the veins, they're there, but because the quality of the clay is slightly translucent, you can kind of feel the veins more than you see them, if that makes sense at all. So let's have a closer look at this clay craft. So Deco, as you could see, it's very, very, it even looks light and almost edible, kind of very, very yummy, but it's a bit crackly, and that is because I had it for nearly a year. And I had it for nearly a year because actually I bought a couple of packs of this thinking it was polymer clay. I mean, thinking it was called porcelain, which it wasn't, but I didn't know at the time. I was just like researching badly. Anyway, so this one is fresher. The light and bright is fresher, and it feels a little bit more sticky and nice. But anyway, they're both perfectly workable. Just add a bit of Nivea in the cream, and it works very nicely. And make sure you wrap it up well as well. So what can I actually say about using Deco? I like Deco very, very much. It's very hard to show in the camera what it's actually like, but it's a bit like working with a marshmallow that doesn't stick and it rolls out. It's kind of that foamy, interesting texture. It's very, very light. It doesn't stick to anything. It's a total break, if you compare to working with cold porcelain or even sugar paste. It doesn't have the same translucency, not at all, but it is very, very white. So, and yeah, it's just so much easier to, I don't think you would ever want to really or need to wire it because it's so light. So no, habitually wires are not used with it, which is why it's so much quicker to work with it really. And as you can see, the veins are ace. quick run through materials. With cold porcelain, I use wires quite a lot, and most people do. Probably not as much as sugar, but still do. With Deco, probably not. The cutters, the same as with sugar. You use nice cutters. Clay doesn't work as well with less sharp, blandish cutters. Now, paints, what you're meant to use for painting your paste and then toning is oil paints, and I've used normal oil paints and water-based oil paints. I just thought water-based would be a lot easier to use and less stinky, but actually the normal non-water-based like this one, they don't smell as much and they're absolutely fine to use. And you could use cheaper or more expensive brand. I haven't actually worked with cold porcelain long term enough to see the results of different brands, because I worked with it for about less than a year really. So, but you can kind of see. And this is the solution, special solution you buy to dilute your paints, unless they're water-based. With water-based you probably would be able to use water. I don't know, I haven't tried. Now, if you guys excuse me, can I just do something really self-indulgent? I had a fantastic news yesterday, and I just dying to share it. Sorry to boast. And my brilliant news is that I've become the part of this Global Sugar Artist Networks thing, and I'm so happy. I really did try to be cool and just not boast, but I couldn't help it. There were hundreds and hundreds of people who were considered for this, and only a handful of us made it. And so congratulations to all you other guys. If any of you who also got featured watching this video, congratulations to you all. And yeah, sorry to take time and boast. Let's move on to the video at hand. Oh, by the way, I have a tutorial on the FERN which is featured in this picture in one of my videos. Go watch it. I'm going to link it below. I have repeatedly used edibles to dust my cold porcelain, and it worked really well. However, it's over time it may not be ideal, and you're better off using good quality chalks. Not necessarily this, but yeah. And these are the markers. I have heard of the idea of using markers on non-edible clay, well, on clay, and I haven't actually ever used them, but I've just bought this cheap kind of set to try, and in all fairness it does look quite promising for things like what is that, pansy. Well, pansy is something that springs to mind, and as to pansy, I actually have a tutorial on pansy as well. I'm going to try to remember to link that one up too. But yeah, once I give it a try, and I might do a tutorial on it. Let me know if you'd want to see one of those. So here you go, my petals. On the right you have a cellulose, and on the left you have cold porcelain. And they both shrunk a little bit. See, if I add a bit of white, it's less flexible. This one is very flexible, but it has a bit of a greyish tint to it, this modern clay. So I'm not all that impressed. And obviously, as you could see, the quality of this Deco is just so foldable. This one is foldable enough, but it's not. It gets stiffer with days. One day drying, and this is something that just went completely wrong with my DIY paste. Even though I've used it very nicely on some other flowers, as far as I could remember, or maybe it's a different batch. I really don't know. Obviously, the big advantage of this cellulose clay is that it's very light. I forgot to measure the other flowers, but this is pretty much, they're all more or less the same size in this video. So I'm going to weigh them and you'll see the difference. Cold porcelain is more or less the same weight as sugar, but with light flowers like this, there's a huge potential for this huge cascades on wedding cakes, as it's also non-toxic. And this is it pretty much. I think this video is kind of run on a bit. I'm gonna round it up. I'm really grateful to all my subscribers who come back and watch it, and lately you guys been leaving loads of lovely comments, so thank you very much. And for those of you who are new to my channel and you stayed this far, I think you need to subscribe. I think you are destined to spend next 20 years of your life watching my videos every week. And with that, it's Christina Wallace. May life treat you well until I see you all next week.